So why did you come to Korea? What's your favorite thing about Korea? What's your least favorite thing about Korea so far? What surprised you most about Korea? Hey guys, how's it going? It's Sean. In this video, I asked many foreigners why they came to Korea. I also asked them other interesting questions like, what's your favorite thing about Korea? What shocked you when you got here? And what do you like least about Korea? This was a very interesting video. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. Also, if you're currently studying English, I highly recommend you join my channel membership. Without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, how's it going? Where are you from?
It's going great. We're from Sweden. Yeah.
So, why did you come to Korea?
A couple of different reasons. We both really like Korean music, and that kind of led into an interest in Korean culture.
Yeah, I also watch a lot of TV series, and then you get exposed to a lot of the culture. So you want to live it yourself, and a lot of food as well.
Oh yeah.
We just had lunch. It was very good.
What did you have?
된장찌개.
Oh.
So
된장찌개, the
Bean
soybean paste
paste. Yeah.
soup.
Yeah.
How was it?
it was very good. It was the first warm meal here, so it was.
We enjoyed it. Yeah. It was great.
Is that your favorite Korean food?
I had never tried it before, so it was really interesting. I think it's one of my top 3. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from Norway.
So, why did you come to Korea?
I came to Korea because I study gender studies, and so I chose to go to a women's university here in Seoul because of that. Yeah, they have really good gender studies at Ewha.
Before coming to Korea, did you study at all about Korean culture or the Korean language or anything like that?
I studied a bit of the language just for a few months, and then I knew some K-pop because I had friends that really liked K-pop.
Yeah. What do Norwegian people think about Korea?
I think Norwegian people look at Korea as kind of utopia for technology. Norway is still very suburban. We don't have a lot of big cities, very small roads, stuff closes at 8 p.m. every day.
Are you from a big city or more of the countryside?
I'm from the countryside, yeah.
How many cows do you have?
How many cows?
Just kidding.
I don't have any, but my aunt has 6 cows.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Are you happy that you came to Korea?
Yeah, very happy.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from the UK and I'm good, thank you.
So, why did you come to Korea?
So I'm a student here. I'm studying at Ewha for the full year, and Korea just seems so interesting to me as someone from the West. As such a different culture, I wanted to be able to experience it myself. Part of it is just a fascination you can't quite explain. Another part of it is I'm a big history person. I think the specific history of Korea and how that influences its culture is really interesting to me.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm from Mexico.
So, why did you come to Korea?
I wanted to go to Japan originally.
Yeah.
And but then after applying for scholarships, I got to Korea, and I was already into the culture, Korean dramas and K-pop. So I chose Korea at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. So originally you wanted to go to Japan, and I guess that didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
You didn't get accepted or something?
Yeah. The spots were limited.
So you liked the culture, okay, and then you decided to study here, and now you've been here for 9 months.
I have. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Cool.
I like Korea.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Korea?
There's some things modern culture with the music and the style and the nightlife and stuff that is very alive and youthful, and then you can really also kind of experience the more traditional culture. I think that's my favorite thing, the contrast and the history, and
also the people. I feel it's so different, culture, socially, from Sweden as well. So it's really nice to experience that. And I've also studied a bit of language, and I really love it. So that makes this experience better as well, since I can understand more and talk to people and actually interact more with the culture here.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from California. What about you?
I'm from Philadelphia. What's your favorite thing about Korea?
Right now, I'd say that it's really unique and developed. I like the city planning and how everything is. It's very simple. In the United States, you have to drive from place to place, and it's like 25 minutes to go get a simple ice cream or go buy a shirt.
That's a good point.
Yeah, definitely. I'd
The
say.
U.S. is very spread out,
Yeah, definitely.
especially California.
Yeah, it's like 16 hours to drive across the state, and it's 16 hours to get to Korea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from Germany.
So far, what's your favorite thing about Korea?
Oh, the food, I would say, and the cafes. There are also like a lot of small cafe shops or places where you can go for studying and nobody will kick you out. And it's really nice to drink a lot of cafe and try Asian food, which is really cheap here as well.
Nice.
So it's nice.
What are your favorite things about Korea?
I really like the cafe culture.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good desserts, a lot of good coffee. So I really enjoy that. And also the skincare and makeup. It's really nice. Yeah.
The food is fantastic, especially coming from the UK, where our food is not known to be the best.
Yeah.
The food here is fantastic.
What's been like your favorite Korean food or foods?
I like the bibimbap, and it's also my favorite word to say.
It is fun to say, bibimbap. Cool. What's your least favorite thing about Korea so far?
It's very busy, I guess. I'm from quite a rural area, and the big city is very new for me. And also, a lot of people kind of on their phones and this seems quite isolated almost. And I do that too. I'm a victim to that as well. But you get that sense here more than other places I've been to.
Sure, makes sense.
Sometimes there's a strong smell that is not really pleasant for like a couple of steps, and I would say that's my least favorite thing. But then it smells wonderful of food as well, and like it's a bit like whoop, whoop, like whiplash with that. But yeah, I would say that's the thing.
Is this more of an issue in maybe Hongdae, in like more busy areas like this?
We've only been in Hongdae so far, so I can only speak for like the area where our hostel is.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite thing about Korea?
I think maybe people don't really like look up when they're walking, and so they clash into each other all the time, and that can be like a bit of an annoyance for me. Because in Norway we stay very far away from each other. Nobody sits by each other on the bus. We're like always very far away from each other. Like like the COVID restrictions, stay like 2 meters away from each other.
Sure.
We already did that. And so coming to Korea, people bump into you and they're up in your personal space. It's a bit different from Norway.
On the subway, maybe?
Yeah, definitely on the subway.
Line number 2.
Yeah. Yes.
What do you like least about being here?
All the tall buildings, I
Oh.
would say. Because sometimes, today we are lucky because there's a lot of sunshine, it's really nice weather. But sometimes you have days going on without seeing the sun. Like maybe in the reflection of those shiny houses or buildings. But
Yeah.
that's the thing I like the least.
Interesting. Cool, cool. Hey, how's it going? Where are you from?
I'm from Germany. I think it's a bit difficult for foreigners to come here with the language barrier because a lot of Koreans don't speak English. So as for me, as I'm not speaking Korean, it's a bit difficult, but it works.
Yeah. You're still able to get by and enjoy yourself, right?
Yes, of course. You can like talk things out a little bit, and also they know a few words English, so
Yeah.
it's fine. And you have a phone.
True, you have the phone. You can also use like gestures and like body language and hand signals too, like pointing.
Yes, right. I think it's a combination of all things, and then you get by pretty well.
Fair enough. What surprised you most about Korea?
Okay, it's gonna be very not clear, but like so far, the vibe, like the atmosphere, like the spirit of like walking around in the streets and like
Sure.
people and like just the atmosphere, I guess.
The energy.
Yeah, the energy. It's
Yeah.
it's different. It's something I've never really experienced like this.
Yeah.
Like in this area.
Yeah.
So it's very unique, but I like it.
Okay, if the energy was a cocktail the bartender made, what kind of cocktail?
I'm gonna say a dirty martini.
Okay, why?
Because I haven't tried it, but I feel like I would like it.
Okay.
It's a martini, but it's different. It has something like a bit of spice.
Okay.
And it has like an olive, and I love olives.
Okay. So Seoul is a dirty martini.
Yeah, but like in a good way.
In a good way.
In a way that I would actually want to drink it.
Yeah. Was there anything that shocked you when you came to Korea or when living in Korea?
The safety of Korea, like you could be walking down the street like at 3 a.m. and nobody's gonna bother you. Like you feel safe.
Yeah.
So-
Is this different from Guadalajara in Mexico?
Yeah, I personally wouldn't choose to walk by myself at 3 a.m. in my neighborhood.
Okay.
But if I want to go to, I don't know, the convenience store, see you, and like, I don't know, get something to eat, like snack, I could do it and I wouldn't think twice of like if something were to happen to me.
Yeah. In Korea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably the thing about cameras. So there's this big issue here in South Korea of taking pictures of strangers unallowed, and I think I didn't knew that before I came here.
Good point. Yeah, it's kind of scary as a woman.
Yeah.
True. What shocked you when you first got here?
They sell like alcohol in the convenience stores. Yeah.
They don't do that in Norway.
No, it's very, it's state regulated.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's very different from Norway.
Sure. There's a lot of rules in Norway in terms of selling alcohol.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So that's very different here. You can go like in the middle of the night and get like a bottle of soju.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Is that what you have tried once or twice?
Yeah, I tried mixing.
No, not judging.
I tried mixing soju with like one of the, the ice cups.
Yeah.
With like, that was really good actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe that's a good thing about Korea.
Yeah, it's very convenient. I think everything about Korea is pretty convenient. Yeah.
I think everything shocked me. I think that the scale, I have a memory of getting off the subway station for the first time and just being dumbstruck by everything that was around me. You can do a 360 where we're stood right now and there's more here than there is in my hometown. It's, so yeah, that is very impressive. That's what shocked me the most, I think.
Yeah. Is it easy to make Korean friends?
It's not super easy because it's also like I feel like we can't really like approach in the same way since also like we don't speak Korean fluently, and of course people speak English, but I feel like you approach someone and expect them to like accommodate to you, and that feels like a bit weird.
It feels like kind of rude, even though it's not inherently rude to like want to be friends with people. But it feels like if I'm approaching you, I'm like invading your private space, kind of, I guess.
Approach someone in English.
Yeah. Because I don't speak Korean. I can say like 3 things, and that's it.
So if you could speak Korean, you think it would be much easier to approach people and talk to them, I guess?
In the right setting, I think so.
Yeah.
Like on the street, it would still feel kind of weird, but if you're like at a bar or something, you could just like chat a bit.
Sure.
But like online, it's easier to find Korean friends.
True.
I find.
True.
I think it's more harder than in Europe, because in Europe the people are more open. Like if you're just looking around, people come up to you and say, "Oh, can I help you? Do you need to find a station or something like that?" I think it's a lot harder in Korea, but I think it's more of a cultural thing than the people being mean. I don't think that don't want to make friends. I think it's also a bit hard for them due to the language barrier, but everyone is really kind. I have to say that.
Yeah, in general, people are kind, but maybe they're a bit scared to approach you.
Yeah.
Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah. I think they're a bit shy because there are not a lot of foreigners here. That's also a thing that surprised me. I thought there would be more foreigners. But yeah, I think you can still make friends if you really want to. I'm sure there are a lot of people open to that.
Is it easy to make Korean friends?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty easy. I feel like a lot of Korean people want to learn more English and also learn about like Scandinavian culture. I have like a lot of people come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're from Norway. Can you teach me about Norway?" So actually, I've made a lot of friends because of that.
Yeah.
Korean friends.
Interesting. So it sounds like a lot of Koreans are interested in Europe and even like Northern Europe too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Cool.
seems like it.
Yeah.
It can be difficult. It helps being at a university where there's a lot of other international students and people are more likely to speak English, which makes it easier. It can be difficult, particularly if you're not fantastic at Korean, which I'm not. But there's definitely opportunities for it, yeah.
Sure. So not the easiest, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, it's definitely doable, especially if you're willing to go out of your way and put the effort into it.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Did you enjoy this video? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. Once again, I'm Sean, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.